It's 6 o'clock, so hello and welcome to our new episode of the Astroholic Live.
Christmas edition!
Yay! What gave it away?
I don't know.
Well, so I'm Dr. Alfredo Carpinetti.
And I'm almost Dr. Matt J. And welcome again to the Astroholic Live, where we talk science at you and make cocktails. And you talk to us with your questions and whatnot through Twitter. And we just generally have a good old chilled out sciencey time for an hour.
Yes, and so if you have questions,
comments, puns,
yes,
particularly we do love a good pun or a good science joke when you
yeah,
know.
And I have my gold stars to award.
Good. Yeah, if you have any of those things, tweet them to us. I'm at MattJY, and he's at Dr. Carpinetti. That's probably how you found us. Or you can just tweet using the hashtag #TheAstroholicLive. Don't forget to put the, because I do it myself sometimes, and then we can't find anything.
Yes, so please do interact with us. Otherwise, it's just the two of us talking to the washing machine.
You say that like it's a bad thing, but I think we've done a lot of the time it actually is just us talking to the washing machine.
And we're proud of that. So it's a Christmas special. So
we're super in the mood. We've got is this like a poinsettia? I guess I don't know. There's some kind of red and green tablecloth. We've got the Christmas tree.
Edelweiss.
Edelweiss. Edelweiss is a flower.
I would assume so. In Italian is
I didn't know
is called the Christmas. In Italian is called the Christmas star.
Hold on, I need to Google that. Is Edelweiss a flower? Now I can't. Edelweiss. What is Edelweiss? I thought it was just a song.
Put flower.
It is a flower, but it looks nothing like what this is.
Put Edelweiss red.
Red.
In
red flower. Sorry, we'll start in a minute. This is important business first. You know, get your taxonomy straight. Nope, sorry, not a real thing. Edelweiss is a white flower.
What? Is some sort of
That's all we really need to know, to be honest. Anyway, so, like I said, welcome to Astroholic. Today we've tried to find some sciencey things that will be interesting to you and festive-y related, kind of.
Yeah.
So, do we have a few pre-questions? I forgot.
We have one question, which is not very Christmassy.
But I guess an important one.
Yes. Shall we start with that one and then we go on explanation? Actually, shall we start with that one?
Yeah.
Then
you got to do the sandwich. It's like when you give someone bad news. You got to go. Oh, this was great, except you were terrible. But that's not too bad. You know, you got to do the bad news sandwich. So
okay.
We do that.
So no, then tell us something Christmassy, and then
Christmassy.
And then we go with the political questions.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with a fun story which I really, really like. It's not like a recent thing, but it is, I guess it's Christmassy related in the way that it's about wintry things and snow and penguins. And it's the story of the exploration, a very old exploration in the early 1900s to the South Pole. So I've always found the story really fascinating because it sheds a real insight into the lives of animals and their behaviours and how people anthropomorphize, meaning put human traits and characteristics onto other animals that are not human and compare them directly to us. And also just, it's an interesting story. You sounded like you have a question.
No, I haven't got a question. So I just wonder where you're going with this anthropomorphize. I think you're. Go on.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned the anthropomorphization of the way people anthropomorphize everything at least once a show.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what I do all the time.
Things are adorable. And
yeah, they're adorable. They're adorable until they're a bit gross. So anyway, there's a book based. There's a book written by these people 9 years after this eventful trip called The Worst Journey in the World, which you can go find somewhere. But it is in Old English, so you know, if you're really that interested, or I'm sure there's going to be other synopses everywhere else. But it's about a team of British experts led by Robert Falcon Scott, in about 1910 who took a boat called the Terra Nova, set sail from Cardiff, Wales, all the way down to the South Pole, and to Antarctica, and then their mission was with what do you call it? I've forgotten the word. The expedition leader person called Astley Cherry Garrard was to take. He was going to lead the pack to the South Pole with a guy called Dr. Edward Wilson in tow to go find emperor penguin eggs, because they decided they wanted to go and find get some emperor penguin eggs and examine the embryos, and so they can study evolution, see whether they fit in on the evolutionary tree, basically, and whether it will give any more information about birds as a whole. But they had to do this in the winter period because they already knew that that's when they had their breeding season. They would breed just in the start of in winter, and then have their chicks during the winter period. So they landed on the Antarctic coast. A few of them set up camp. This is what they decided to do. Is a few of them, I think it's Astley Cherry Garrard. I'm reading the names off here. I don't remember the names. Astley Cherry Garrard. Let's call him ACG for now. So ACG gets there and he's like, right, I'm going to set up camp here. And Robert Falcon Scott was all like, okay, come with me, Dr. Wilson. Let's lead the expedition to go find these eggs. So off they go, and they said, right, we'll rendezvous back with you in a few weeks once we've made it to the South Pole and found the penguins. But time goes on, they don't come back, and then you think, oh, sure, let's go find them, let's go and trek on. But at this stage, they'd been there quite a long time, they'd expected them back, and so they were running low on supplies. So half the team had stayed back, went back to Britain, and there was another boat coming, so the rest of them stayed there and tried to retrace the steps of their colleagues who'd gone to find the penguin eggs. Unfortunately, they only got 11 miles away and froze to death, and they didn't get very far. So poor old Robert Falcon Scott and I believe Dr. Wilson died. But ACG, he kept on going and collected the emperor penguin eggs, but obviously had to wait for the return of the next boat. And it was during this time that he sat and spent a good few months waiting for the another boat to come back, observing the Adelie penguin. And the Adelie penguin looks super adorable, pretty, standard penguin, black and white, and they're very abundant across the coast where they were staying. You'll remember that last year during the John Lewis advert, which is always renowned for being very soppy and, spewy.
Not last year, 2 years ago.
2 years
last year
ago.
was Moon Hitler.
Moon Hitler?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Moon Hitler. Okay, so before Moon Hitler, it was the Adelie penguin. And it's funny that they chose that to be all cute and cuddly, because actually, during these months, when ACG was like, I got nothing to do, I'm just going to sit and watch these penguins.
You're about to ruin penguins for me.
Yeah, I'm about to ruin penguins for you and everyone else. He found out, oh, actually, they're not as cute and cuddly as you think. They were described as almost like children, because, so humans are very good at seeing bits of themselves in other animals and stuff. That's how we make sense of them. We'll see, oh, this animal does this. It's very much like our behaviour. Therefore, we initially assume that is exactly the kind of behaviour that they're doing, which is almost not true in most cases. So what he noticed during the Adelie penguin breeding season is that what he described as a sexual deviancy by the Adelie penguins. And he was thinking, he was watching them, saying, oh, look how cute they are, pairing off into their pairs. Oh, wait, there goes a male penguin, and he is copulating with a chick. Oh, there goes another male penguin, and he's copulating with a dead male and a dead female. And basically, he wrote a really interesting scientific account that was later published about the very, very intricate reproductive process of the Adelie penguin. And when he got back to England in about 1913, they were all so prudish and like, oh no, this is too much, this is too sexually explicit. Bear in mind, penguins, it's penguins. That it was, even people in the scientific community kind of shoved it to the side and didn't want it to be spread too far, because they thought science would be seen as a joke if people were coming back from places like the South Pole and like, oh, well, we've got a few eggs, but we've got an entire paper on the necrophilial and paedophilic habits of Adelie penguins. So, Merry Christmas, penguins are rapists. That's my story.
So,
isn't it wonderful?
So I was hoping for a nice science Christmas story to do the sandwich, as you said, because to answer the question, which is about Brexit, I will need. Okay, so penguins are ruined, and
if you've just joined us, welcome to the Astroholic Live. We've just been discussing the horrific sex lives of the Daily Penguin, and now we're going to be talking about Brexit. If you have any comments and would love to join the conversation, which we would really like you to do, please tweet to us through Twitter, which is how I'm assuming you found these links, or tweet using the hashtag #TheAstroholicLive. So what was this? You're starting with the drink.
Yes,
Okay.
because after you bring penguins and I need to talk about Brexit, I think I need to have drinks on me.
Yeah, after breakfast we're definitely going to need breakfast.
Brexit. So, Dr. Duncan Hassel, who was here in March episode.
Yeah, I think so. Neuropsychologist at Cambridge.
Yeah, who actually told me today they would like to be back in Australia. And I think would say yes.
Our first repeated appearance. And on that note, if there's any scientists out there watching who'd like to...
You forgot Russ that came back.
Oh yeah, he came back. Oh, I see Russ loads. It's like, so I forget his. How often to say.
So yes, Duncan, you're always welcome to join us. He asked the very, very important question of what would be the impact of Brexit on the UK science,
and
why? So again, for really the spirit of the holiday, let's talk politics.
Normally, as we would have, as we've mentioned in previous Astroholics, we've said no, we won't really discuss politics. But actually, this is such a profound issue that has such far-reaching consequences. You know, it's hard not to talk about it anymore especially because it impacts people. And is already impacting people within universities a lot.
Yeah,
and academia. And as much as you may think, oh, it's quite a small. Something's on. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm stuck to the decorations behind me. As much as you think, universities, academia may be such a small bubble, it's extremely influential in the UK. And
just to consider, for every £1 billion that the government put into academic research, there is about 10 billion pounds of earning in GDP. Simply because all those innovation and ideas then are passed on to industry, and it's closer to be passed on to industries that are already in the UK. If an engineer solve a new problem, probably is going to start a small company and have a patent for it, and the patent is going to be in the UK. If you don't have those kind of investment, you're literally just sending those billions to other countries. And that is what's probably going to happen with Brexit. You see, you need to consider that the UK is seen as this amazing academic destination. That's the reason why I came here. I'm an immigrant, and I saw that doing a master and then hoping to get a PhD here was so important. It would have opened so many doors. It was something so prestigious, and I worked really, really hard to get into UK academia, and now it's not that attractive anymore. It's the fact that yes, the universities still have the prestige, but it's the country. People don't want to come here. A friend of mine who is a biologist, actually physicist in Switzerland, had an option to go to San Francisco or to go to Cambridge. And although Cambridge is a lot more prestigious, he decided to go to San Francisco. Didn't want to come to the UK, so he's moving from the other side of the world, and he had the option to go to either. I think scientists for EU posted something about how the number of admission in Cambridge from EU nationals have dropped significantly. See, this is the sort of news that doesn't really come out often, because there was the big story. Every right-leaning newspaper talking about that before Brexit there were a record number of people moving to the UK. There are very little story about what happened afterwards. And let's not talk about people coming to research. How about fundings? A lot of fundings come from the EU for the research, and the government has promised that it's going to match all those fundings. But
until 2020. But therein lies a problem. So I mean, a lot of people I've talked to from who are not from a science background, they sort of didn't understand. Oh, well, if the UK has been seen as such a beacon of excellence in science for so long, how is the leading the EU going to change that? And basically, science is a collaborative effort. It is the combination of experiences and ideas and intellect and hard work from people across the world. And you may think, oh yes, well, people from across the world can still come, but it's extremely difficult. It's becoming more and more difficult for people to come here and work and collaborate with us. That's the only reason science in the UK has held its such a good position and produced such amazing work, because of the collaborations that have been allowed to take place. But if restrictions on funding were to be imposed, people won't be able to come, because most people can't just come off their own backs. Science is an expensive business, and without EU funding, and a lot of the time these funding bodies they will decide on to give these pots of money that they have. They say, right, what's the most important things to the society of people of Europe at the moment? Oh, these are the most important things, and this is where they put the funding, so the research is most relevant to society. And then researchers from all across Europe specifically are entitled to apply to this funding, which then helps them come over here and do their amazing work that they have. And so inhibiting this collaboration is extremely problematic, because if you were to take the super-nationalist role of British science for British scientists, you'd have 5 people left, because universities are hugely international places. And even if you think, oh, I live in a town with the university very far from London, so it's not that international, if you had to wander into the campus, you'll be very surprised. It's always extremely international. So it goes more beyond just money. And one comment I've read time and time again is, which you have as well, I think, is where people say, oh, scientists are just upset about the EU referendum result because they want to be riding the science gravy train, and the EU exit will disrupt that. And first of all, I want to know what gravy train this is, because compared to all other professions of similar qualification, science is way down here for what you get paid in comparison. So it is no gravy train, and it's extremely difficult to progress into it. So yeah, if you find this gravy train, please tell me, because I like me some gravy.
Can you put that in the corner? This is yours.
Yes, thank you. Ooh, it smells good.
Yes.
So what have we got, Alf? What have we got?
Before
give us some happy
before this, I want to finish with one rant. Even if there was a gravy train, I don't want. I love this country. I don't want British scientists in Britain to ride the gravy train. I want it to lead the gravy train. We have so much talent that we can really have an impact. But its election is in 2016. It's not really gonna work. Just ask North Korea. So this is a hot toddy.
A hot toddy.
Hot toddy. I don't know. I'm foreign.
I came up with this one, which I'm quite
yes.
proud of. Actually, it was inspiration from my housemate who introduced me to them. So cheers to Lizzie, who has no social media presence because she's weird.
So you can tell anything you want about Lizzie.
Yes. So you want to be cheersing to this time to the impending isolation of Britain.
Impending isolation of Britain.
That's quite nice. It's warm.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, it's a little bit of a kicker there.
Yeah, I highly recommend this one. Oh, it just keeps getting better and better.
Yes. The next, if we do another round, I'll have a little bit more honey. Anyway, okay, I think it's my turn to tell of a Christmas story. How about let's move from the ranty side, because I have one that is ranty, but later. And we talk about snowflakes.
Yay, snowflakes.
Snowflakes. So, how is snow made?
Well, water gets cold and then it comes down.
How cold?
How cold? I don't know, quite cold, but not too cold.
Actually, water in the atmosphere needs to be at minus 35 degrees. But it's not ice yet. It's still water. It's just super cool.
So minus 30 degrees Celsius.
Celsius.
Oh, okay.
So what happens?
Same temperature as my heart.
Okay. And we're gonna drink on that.
Because I'm dead inside.
So at that temperature, water is super cooled. What does it mean? It means that
it's really cool.
I'm asking myself question because you weren't paying attention to me. So it's not. Oh, shut up.
So water is super cool. Does that mean it like puts on like I've done here? Like we've done. Do they put its hats on sideways? Does it start using slang words when it's super cool? Do droplets start hanging around in gangs and intimidating all the other droplets?
Actually, they're trying to stay quite separate from each other. When water is super cool, they is still liquid, although is way below freezing point.
Okay, so how do you know why does it stay liquid below freezing point?
Well, it's simply that the water is so pure that it can remain fluid below freezing point. But at a certain point, it will reach a temperature that is so low that it will freeze. So that is when it hits that temperature, or if there is a grain of dust or pollen, that water starts freezing. And then when it hits the other water molecule, it starts forming a crystal.
So so when you have pure water that's contaminated by other particles, it acts as a catalyst, you say, to so impurities come and the crystals start forming around these impurities, which is what I believe happens.
I think...
Or have I made that up?
No, that is perfectly correct. I'm not sure using the term catalyst work. I don't know if the chemists that are listening to us are going to say, you could not say that. The catalyst is mostly speeding up chemical reaction.
Well, I mean, it's a catalyst in a way that it gets the process going.
Yeah, and actually...
it needs like an active surface for which to start.
Is the Hobbit end process. It's what starts the landslide. Hobbits.
Wait, what? Where does Hobbits come into snow?
No, and end. Isengard.
Oh.
2 towers. Anyway, apart from that
lovely wild metaphor and completely irrelevantly lost on me.
So yeah, the crystals are forming, and you don't always have the sort of picturesque, sort of traditional snowflake shape. You can have a prism, you can have flat planes, you can have your tiny little crystals. But you can form in many different ways, just how water molecules interlink to each other. What is interesting, that is always hexagonal. And why is it hexagonal?
Why is it hexagonal, Dr. Carpenetti? Why don't you tell me?
Well, we definitely need another person to sort of buffer us.
Because otherwise it's just me, just cutting each other down.
Yes.
On that note, by the way, for any other random people who joined in halfway, welcome to the Astroholic. And if you're a scientist out there watching and you think you want to come and join us and talk random science and drink cocktails with us that are actually really, really good, except for that one time, then do tweet us and let us know, because we always love meeting new people and having new guests.
Yes, and wow, I'm never gonna leave down the sangria, huh?
No, suspended sangria. That was the single worst thing I may have ever put in my mouth. But yeah, there's a debate.
Yes. Anyway, we have fish. So why is snowflakes hexagonal? The reason is that's the best way for water molecules to interact with each other, and so that is the lowest energy configuration.
Oh, so it's the most energy efficient way for molecules to arrange.
And so you can form it in slightly different crystals, slightly different types, but it's always an hexagonal. So you can have the prism, you can have a flat plate, or the traditional shape.
Good old entropy strikes again. As soon as you think that concept isn't relevant,
it's always there.
It comes right back in.
You can never get
away from entropy.
Yeah.
You can never escape entropy, quite literally.
But to have snow on the ground, you need to have a temperature between 0 and 2. So people think that it needs to be below freezing, or some people say, oh no, if it's too cold for a snow to form, no, it's a little bit of a balance. If it gets too cold, it might mean that snow melts, reform, or just turns into hail. But if you have the right balanced temperature, you can have snow, but it doesn't mean that it needs to be below freezing to have snow. But above 2 degrees, it turns into sleet when it touches the ground. And that is my nice Christmas story. Oh, I know.
Well, it's not much of a Christmas thing. I guess none of this is really Christmassy. It's much just like, this is winter.
I have.
Here's how winter works, people.
Well, happy Saturnalia. Happy Yule. There's like 27 different holidays between mid-November and mid-January. So let's talk about, it's the winter festival of Christmas. Now I have a Christmas story, but I'm saving it for later because in case I get a little bit ranty. So I'm hoping that the hot toddy will sort of smooth my edges.
Oh, you're not that rough.
Well, it's actually about Christmas, so about family tradition of Christmas, so it's gonna get rough. Please do send us questions or comments or...
Shout out already to Dr. Duncan Astor for his contribution, which was really cool.
Thank you very much, Duncan.
Someone's giving us random love hearts on Periscope, so thank you to whoever that is. Say hi. And also wanted to give a shout out to poor old Dan, who's on Twitter at Apophthegmus. It's
the. Okay, I thought it was like probably with you, but
you stumped us. Okay, Dan Apophthegmus. I can't pronounce your name, but he says he's really gutted that he can't watch us live. So when you watch this replayed, and it'll be on YouTube later, and I think you can watch it replayed on Periscope. Hi, Dan.
Also, I was thinking to actually, this is something that people can comment. I was thinking to get it also on Vimeo, because you can download it and watch it offline.
Yeah.
So that could be an alternative. We can have both.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we love using Periscope, it is always nice to try new avenues.
Yes.
Branching out a little.
Yeah, so you can download it and have it offline, and you can watch us if you're on train, on the plane, in the bath, wherever you don't have signal.
Yeah, because what everybody wants when they're taking a nice bath is to have these two idiots talking at them and drinking.
Maybe they do.
Yeah, hey, if that's your thing, no judgment, that's cool. I'm happy to facilitate and help out where I can, you know. So
we don't have any question, but it's already half an hour, so we're doing well.
We'll just keep drinking and talking. Well,
it's your turn for a story.
It's my turn. Well, I was going to talk about this cool bit of news that I found, which reminded me a lot about random stocking filler toys that I used to get when I was a kid. So I used to be quite a fan of what my parents, or Santa Claus, for those of you who are, younger than. Sorry, not sorry for spoiling that for you. Art is a lie, nothing is real. I used to get all sorts of weird little like puzzle games, amongst like little gold chocolate coins, all that in my stocking. Do you have like the stocking tradition in Italy where they put little things in?
We have the stocking for the Epiphany, which is when the three wise men reach Jesus, and that is on the 12th night, so 6th of January. That's when we have sweets and coins and stuff.
Supposedly on the 6th of January.
Yeah.
Supposedly on the 6th of January.
What? We're gonna, spoiler alert, we're gonna discuss about the three wise men later.
How good of friends were they really?
Yeah. And what the hell is myrrh?
Myrrh.
Myrrh.
I tell you what myrrh is, it's not a gift. Neither is frankincense. That's just, both of them are just smelly dust. Gold, that is a gift. That's what you, if someone is like, oh my god, he is like the king of us all, like, and he is amazing, and you have such reverence for him, and your friend's like, I'm bringing him gold. You don't then go like, oh my god, how about I give him a bag of cinnamon? Like, he can inhale it and it'll burn his insides. Yes, that's exactly what we need.
Well, if you want to give a gift to the Astroholic Live team, we accept gold. Not much myrrh.
Yeah, we take donations in gold bullion only.
Yes. Anyway, story.
So, thinking about, well, I want to ask you, what did you like get any particular trinkets in your stockings as tradition?
So, always for fun, my mom, let's start from the top. My mom would put sugary coal on top, just to make me wonder if I've been a good boy. Then there was Kinder chocolate. Which is quite nice. But then there was dark chocolate because she knows that I always liked dark chocolate. And then there was Tankfastics. Like and to be honest, I'm 31, and when I go there for Christmas, I can always see her that the last half an hour before I leave, she's hovering around my suitcase because she hides Christmas Christmas.
Yes, stocking.
A Christmas stocking full of sweets for me to take home. She hides it like it's a surprise and I don't know that it's happening, but still quite nice.
Sorry, Dr. Duncan Astle. Hey Duncan, he's just tweeted in saying he thinks myrrh is used for dead bodies. In what way? Please tell us, because we'll do the thing now that we're going to talk about, but I'd love to know why. Is it just because was it like an olden day thing where like, oh, you stink because you're dead, I'm going to put smelly dust on you. Anyway, back to myrrh later and its plethora of useless uses.
So for us it was just sweets, maybe a couple of Kinder eggs, and when I was in Italy I would get top-up card for my mobile phone when I was slightly more grown up.
When that was a thing. But did you ever get silly putty for Christmas?
Nope.
We see that's something like I got every other year or so. Me or all my siblings did. Because we'd obviously ruin it during the year. And we always thought it was great, you know, it's a non-Newtonian, what do you call it? I know you know, my dear, but the viewers may not know. Sorry, did I just...
it's alright, I thought it spiked, but it was just...
Yeah, I know you know that it's a non-Newtonian.
No, I meant that I know what silly putty is.
I'm describing it.
I'm describing
it.
Go on. We really need another person.
Yeah, because just gonna freaking tear each other apart. Anyway, so I used to get silly putty, which was always really fun. And if you thought any of you played with silly putty, you may have thought, is there no end to their uses? You can roll it up at a ball, use it to bounce. You can put it on things, and they're like, what? Technical term. And you can even use it on like newspapers to sort of transfer a bit of an imprint of the paper, because it would pick up a bit of the ink. But researchers have recently done something really cool at Trinity College Dublin, I believe, where they've spiked it and formed something called G-putty, which is really cool. Basically, they've taken graphene, which is a form of carbon that comes in like these big sheets. It's almost like what your pencil is made of, which is graphite, but it's slightly different.
Should I interject with that?
Interject
So
away.
the graphite is many layers of graphene. Graphene is a single layer, so you have all your carbon atoms stretch on a single plane in hexagonal shape.
Hexagons appearing once again in nature. Is it an Illuminati conspiracy or no? Yeah, it's an Illuminati conspiracy.
We think so.
Yes, Illuminati.
No, we don't.
Oh, so anyway, they put different densities of thicknesses of this graphene into silly putty, and not entirely sure what inspired them to do so, because they literally did put it straight into like silly putty itself. They didn't put it into something like silly putty. They're just like, oh, let's take regular old silly putty and like put it in there. And what they found is with them having effectively what they produced is a very flexible and very sensitive conductor. So with this like squishy graphene embedded spiked material, they were able to use it to pick up and monitor a human pulse and even the steps of small spiders, which is really cool. And so
The spider were on the silly putty.
yeah, and they were able to pick up the impulse, like the vibration and stuff from it. And it's,
See, I was about to ask a stupid question, like, then the spider gets stuck in it, but then the spider web.
yeah, it's not really sticky, is it? It's,
Well, sticky enough, probably not for spiders.
yeah, no. But
Sorry, physicists.
we gotta get the physics. We gotta get the physics sorted. I mean, it's like when you go and see those movies, and they're like all of that.
No, physicists in the sense I don't know what spider work.
I don't know how spiders work. What is a spider? Tweet your answer now. So anyway, you may be thinking, what's the point? But actually, it could be really useful and have medical uses. Basically, it can be very difficult sometimes to try and measure different electrical impulses that go through the body in various ways. With rigid instruments, and also in various different situations, it might be difficult to make extremely sensitive conductors that can also be used in very nuanced situations. Normally, for new situations, you'll have to make a whole new one. But having something flexible and sensitive like this would enable you to use the same thing, same sort of sensor in many different applications. One thing I did quite like was that it did encounter a slight problem when they were researching this. One of the examples they mentioned is being able to cut back from using really bulky measuring equipment and being able to sort of refine everything, which, it's always nice to do. But they came across an unexpected issue, and could you guess what issue you might come up with when trying to test how a conducting silly putty works? Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Their biggest hitch was that when they tried to say, oh, let's take the spiders, which are very light, and can we detect pressure and movements that they cause on silly putty? They initially couldn't, because spiders kept eating each other. And while they would put several on a sheet of the silly putty to try and see if they could pick up the individual movements of the different spiders, they thought, wait, only one is coming through. Why is that? Oh, it ate its friend. So, yeah, silly putty could be getting a lot more technical. Who knew? Yay, Christmas! I'll just do that every now and again, just to re-emphasize the Christmas point, I thought.
Yes. Yay, Christmas!
Yay, Christmas! Or whatever you celebrate at this time. We've got a reply on the myrrh situation.
Yes.
Myrrh, according to Dr. Astl's research, which I'm assuming he's just done, it was commonly used, especially in Egypt, in the process of embalming. So, is that how much faith the three wise men had in this supposed new savior? They thought, oh, it's so good, he's gonna die, so we'll bring his parents embalming spices.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn to get...
We're really good at keeping the cheery tone, cheery, wholesome, innocent, Christmassy tone of this.
Yeah, so
webhouse,
on that, let's get into the three wise men directly. It's Let's start very easy. There's only a mention of the three wise men. Actually, let's start with the three wise men. So they didn't think that he was a savior. They just predicted. They were astrologers. They were studying the stars to predict the future. Things that we know doesn't work. And they predicted the birth of a great king.
Okay.
So they didn't know that he was a Messiah, Savior, etc., etc. They just saw that the great king would be born, and they would a star in the sky would give them direction, which is quite interesting because that is vague enough. That could be any star that would give you direction, or even Polaris. Why not?
Polaris being the North
North
Star
Star.
that a lot of people for centuries have used for navigation. And why did they do that, Alf? Why did they use
Because Polaris is very, very close to the to the North Pole, and it doesn't change. Although the North Pole actually does change and moves around. 26,000 years ago, Vega, in the constellation of the Lyre, was the North Star. Anyway, tradition says that the three wise men look at the stars, and there is this prophecy that a great king is going to be born. They see this star appearing in the sky. They get to start walking from the east.
So nowhere in particular, just the east.
Just the east.
Just the east.
And they reach the Jerusalem, and they find the king there, and ask, "Oh, we're here for the birth of the great king." And King Herod say, "Oh, yes, nobody's born here." And they're like, "Oh, but all our prophecy says that the great king was going to be born here." And based on the interpretation, Herod suggested them to go to Bethlem. And they went there, and they're like, "Oh, but tell me when you find this king." And they got there, they found the king, and then they had a vision from the heavens, say, "Don't go back to Herod because he wants to kill him." And they don't go back to Herod, and then Herod just murders thousands of babies in Bethlem. But there is a little bit of an issue with that.
What, a little bit of an issue with murdering thousands
No,
of babies
no.
in Bethlehem? Because I mean,
with the
I
story,
guess if you justify it in the right way.
the story only appears. Okay, keep drinking. The story only appears in one.
This
of
is
the four
Brexit,
Gospels.
bringing out the morbidity in us.
The story is only in one gospel, and people have been obsessed about the star, trying to work out what it was. I think the tradition of being a comet comes from Giotto. It's one of his paintings of the Nativity in Assisi, in the Basilica, the celebrated St. Francis, who sort of invented the recreation of the Nativity. He put a comet, and is suspected to be Halley's comet in the painting. I'm not sure if producer Chris can get the painting from Giotto of the Nativity and show you the comet. And that is very interesting. I think that is likely one of the places where that comes from. But people have thought of supernova going off, of planetary conjunction, Venus and Saturn. And the last one was a few weeks ago. Somebody suggested that it was a conjunction in 4 BCE that could and it would appear in the west just before sunset just after sunset, and could explain that.
So basically, there's lots of people think that they're basically saying there's a lot of different astronomical events that would have occurred around that time, which could have inspired the story of...
But Matthew, who is the only one of the four...
not me.
Not this Matthew. Matthew.
I would never write that much.
Matthew the evangelist was the only one that talks about that. If it was such a big deal, why is it not in the other gospel? But more importantly, if it was such a big deal, so planetary conjunction would have been probably predicted by Greek, Romans, astronomers. It would have been. The reason why we know it is simply because we can predict them. But if it was another, we would have Indians and Chinese records, even Roman records of something going on there. There is a potential comet, I think, passed in 7 BCE, but you see there is a lot of... I think it's people trying to retroactively fit real event or a real astronomical event to a story. And I felt that I was very much calm and tranquil about this.
Yeah, that's very good. I mean, midway through you talking about that, we did get a tweet from another one from Duncan, Dr. Duncan Astle, saying, "Avoid theology, Claxon," which normally could go very badly. But I think that was very good. That was a very balanced, in terms of your temperament, discussion of that. You know?
Also,
it's also really interesting as well because it's been theorized there's actually a lot of historical events, some of which have made it into theologies that are still around today, were inspired by natural events that happened, way back when. And an interesting one I read is so when people were looking for the lost city of Atlantis kind of thing, what they actually discovered is that the myths most likely come from this Greek civilization that used to be in an island. Santorini.
Yeah.
Near Santorini, or Santorini itself.
The Santorini itself.
Yeah, there used to be more of the island, and then at that time there was an earthquake or some geological activity.
I think it was
in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Or volcanic eruption.
Yeah, volcanic eruption of Santorini, and this is why Santorini is shaped the way it is.
Yeah, so there was a volcanic eruption, but it was so powerful that, and because it was right so close to the sea, it caused a tidal wave, tsunami. And as most people now know from tsunamis in recent days that have made the news, when you have a tsunami and you have a large piece of bedrock come up and displace loads of water, what it'll do is it'll suck the water away from one place and it'll go out for hours sometimes before it comes rushing back. And they say this is very likely coincide around the same time in Egypt, because on the opposite side of Santorini, on the Mediterranean, that's sort of where Egypt is and where the Nile estuary begins. And they theorise that, water may have drained out of the Nile estuary at the time that people would have seen, and then it later, during this event, which then flooded the island of Santorini and wiped out this civilization, which then became lost. And so they think that that's probably where the story later got incorporated into many Christian and Jewish texts about Moses parting the Red Sea. And possibly they thought it was inspiration for the flood kind of thing. But it's very interesting that they've they've kind of joined the dots up there, thinking it's inspiration for the Moses parting the Red Sea thing, which is really interesting. And in my personal opinion, I would have found it more interesting to hear a story about the tsunami and the lost civilization. But hey ho, that's just my opinion. Yay, Christmas! Let's have a drink.
Let's have a drink. But
we've had some mentions on Twitter.
We have a Christmas question.
A Christmas question, but first we've got some mentions on the hashtag. Again, people keep giving us little love hearts on Periscope, so thank you. Hi viewers. I'm sorry, if you're sending questions on Periscope, it's a bit tricky for us to monitor it, because I think there's a lag in what we see and then what we say. We say and what we see, so Twitter is best for questions and comments. But shout out to Anthony Lorenzo at Ringo Lorenzo for giving us a shout out. Hope you're enjoying it. I do enjoy your GIF that you put out there, saying if you ever feel like no one is looking out for you, here's a GIF of white blood cells attacking a parasite, and I thought that was quite warming, you know, knowing that at least if no one else loves you, your white blood cells kind of love you in a way. But we've also had some comments from KCOG, who is someone we know called Greg, not KCOG, but he has tweeted us saying, comments on the gravy train earlier, saying, screw the gravy train, the Gravitron is more exciting to ride. And then he sent us an image of what I can only assume is maybe some kind of simulator. I mean,
no, I think it's like probably a ride in
carnival ride.
Carnival ride.
And I guess the Gravitron would be fun to ride, but long term, I would probably choose a gravy train, especially one that came with both, high earning potential and actual gravy. Because
and I need to interject because we're not friends with Greg anymore, because it says that the wise men only brought myrrh to Jesus so they could have a Merry Christmas. We're not friends anymore, and you did that. I think you might be still friends.
No, I like that one. Gold star for you, Gregory. Merry Christmas, everybody. Anyway, to our sciencey sciencey question.
To our sciencey question, Duncan is asking, why is Rudolph's nose red?
So, very easy answer: chronic rhinitis.
Okay, but why is it glowing?
Yeah, that bit I don't know. Swallowed an LED off a train.
I was thinking bioluminescent.
That seems a bit.
Producer Chris has linked you to a nice video of all the reason why Rudolph's nose might be red. There could be rhinitis. They could be just a little bit drunk, and so the blood vessel expand. You can have bioluminescence because it's glowing. Otherwise. I was about to say, what's the point of Rudolph? But actually, the story is terrible. It's the fact that it's pretty much telling you how society works. If you're a little bit different, people will make fun of you and will send you away until they find a use for you.
Oh, wow. I thought you said you were going to end bring us into the end on a high note, but that's just.
I'm sorry, he brought up Rudolph. Rudolph is not a happy story.
Christmas is a lie, and happiness is a lie. The only thing true in the world is that penguins are rapists.
Yeah, and to be honest, that seems the only true stuff in life. So, I'm sorry, but Rudolph is not a good story. It's. They're terrible.
It's true, though.
Santa is slavist that just. Do you think even it pays elf health benefits? They're working all years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they only get one day off, and that's Christmas, I guess. And they might get New Year's Eve, but that's a push, you know. Christmas elf right now, right?
All right, but yes.
Duncan has clarified that he didn't say it was a happy story. He just asked about the nose. And yes, so Alf says bioluminescence, although I think that would be super cool. It's highly unlikely, and the biggest...
On an unlikely scale, more or less unlikely of flying reindeers.
He didn't bring the flying into question, and I'm sorry, they fly by the magic of belief. Have you not read Peter Pan? That's how Tinkerbell flies, because people believe in her, and then when they stop believing in her, she can't fly anymore. And it's the same with the reindeer.
It's the dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fairy dust.
Yeah, but if you read the story, it comes from the belief. It's like when the kids don't, the people get cross with her, then they don't believe in her, and then she can't fly and she gets sick.
Okay.
Believe in magic, kids. It'll do stuff.
So, since Duncan is still going...
you get it. You asked about the nose. I answered about the nose. Chronic rhinitis. If your reindeer is suffering from a bright red glowing nose, please take it to the vet. Also, if you own a reindeer, I think you need some serious considerations to go in place. Why are you not sharing this with us? Why am I not being invited to come and visit the reindeer? I would love to go and pet a reindeer and be best friends with a reindeer.
When I was in Finland, I pet a reindeer. It was great.
Was it really soft?
Yeah, it was so soft. Also, I had reindeer and they're delicious. Christmas!
Yeah, well, I guess if Rudolph did live on a reindeer farm, which I don't even know if those are things, he would probably be culled to prevent his sickness spreading to the others. So, another positive note there for a reindeer.
So, what else is sciencey in Christmas?
I don't know. I pretty much exhausted all the ideas that I was thinking of, trying that don't repeat us from last year. I mean, other than to say that, as I like to remind everyone every year, that the 25th of December, if you are not of the Christian persuasion, is also the birth of Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes, I don't know how much you can see from the Christmas tree. I'll post a couple of pictures later in the Astroholic Live hashtag, but it's full of scientists because on top of the Christmas tree there is a little portrait of Isaac Newton. And the reason for that was, obviously, I'm an atheist, my mom is very staunchly Catholic. To sort of annoying her a little bit, because she was micromanaging my entire Christmas, I decided to put that there, and she was like, well, if you're trying to upset me and you're putting scientists, you might as well fill the entire tree with scientists, so you have a lot of different scientists. And so there is Newton, there is which is famous science communicator, quite a bit.
So as you can tell, Alf definitely doesn't have a flair for the dramatic at all. Always very low key, very modest, and definitely isn't quick to rise to a challenge. It was actually had a similar story with mine, except it was more sort of subtle and passive aggressive, where from my very religious family, are you putting up a tree? I was like, I can't afford a tree, but I have this little cardboard cutout, and you're going to put a star or an angel? And I was like, well, angels creep me out because I don't like the idea of people watching me from the sky. And then also the little angel dolls you find to put on top of the tree are very disturbing. A whole other story on why things that look like humans are very creepy. So I went for the star, but then I put Nelson Mandela in the star because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela is on top of my Christmas tree. Oh. Well, actually, this year it's slightly different. It's a flirtatious star. We basically gave the star a wink because Nelson Mandela fell off.
Okay. So. Matt is South African, if you're wondering. So, put immigrants.
Also, you don't have to be South African. I think everyone should put people like Nelson Mandela on top of their tree and be like, what should we be thankful for this Christmas? Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for all the scientists and artists. And why are we thankful? It's not Thanksgiving. We're not even American.
Be thankful all the time, bitches.
Yes.
Don't need an occasion to. And this turned from science Christmas webcast to us just telling people what to do. So, be more thankful. Be afraid of penguins.
Yes. Apparently, Duncan now is obsessed with us because of all the unintended consequences of reindeers culling due to a suggestion. But I think we need to bring this broadcast to a close, I'm afraid. We only have time to chat for an hour this time, and it's the last
of 2016, and we've been doing this for more than a year, which is crazy. Actually, when did we start? I don't remember.
We started in September 2015, so...
Wow, so we've been going for a year. So, thanks to anyone who's actually entertained us and watched us, all 5 of you, hey guys. But no, seriously, there's more people in there, so thank you, because thanks for watching. Otherwise we'd still be doing this because we just like it, but
we're very grateful of having all of you involved. Oh, we just got in the last 2 seconds. Ali, if you got a question, now is the time.
Before we log off, otherwise, thanks for your exclamation of ooh. But yeah, thanks for watching because you just entertain our drinking habits and our penchant for rambling on about science constantly.
Yes.
I thought I was going to make it through an episode and I'm spilling on myself.
Oh,
I failed.
Yeah, if you've been following us from the very beginning, Matt started the first episode saying, I had some bartender skills and used the shaker and managed to throw cocktail all over the place. This is why now I make the cocktails and Matt is allowed a computer.
Yeah, I drink them and then I check the Twitter and Alf makes the cocktails. But on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been great. The drinks have been good. Thanks for tweeting to us.
Yes.
If you want to follow us and find out when, be alerted when the next Astroholic's going to happen, because we don't know, we just do it whenever.
Yeah.
Follow the Astroholic on Twitter, or you can follow me. I'm at MattJY.
I'm at Dr. Carpinetti, and I've been Alfredo.
And I have been your other host, Matt. So, yeah, thanks again. Merry whatever, happy new thing, and see you
in 2017.
Christmas!